Three places, one story, the birth of America.
USA 250, Exploring Virginia's Historic Triangle, Episode 1, Jamestown, 1607. May 14th, 1607, 104 men stepped off 3 ships and planted a stake in Virginia mud. Within 8 months, 2/3 of them were dead.
And this right here, the ground where we're standing on, is where it all happened.
King James I signed a charter that gave a group of London entrepreneurs, the Virginia Company, permission to colonize the coast of North America.
The instructions were simple. Find and build a secure settlement, find gold, and establish a water route through the Pacific Ocean. And whatever you do, don't let the Spaniards find you.
On December 6, 1606, 3 ships pushed off from London: the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, the Discovery.
104 men and boys, some of them trained soldiers, some of them craftsmen and laborers, some of them gentlemen who had never done a day of physical work in their lives.
All of them were told that they were going to make their fortune.
None of them were told what Virginia would actually cost them.
So I'm here at the bow of the Godspeed, where you can get on, you can go from bow to stern, you can go downstairs. It's amazing how much cargo and people that was actually loaded onto this ship and sailed from England all the way over to Virginia.
They made land at the Chesapeake Bay on April 26, 1607. They spent 3 weeks exploring the river, looking for the right place.
On May 13th, 1607, they found it.
Or so they thought.
The Virginia Company had given the colonists a list of criteria for choosing their settlement site, and on paper, Jamestown Island met every one of them.
The water was deep enough for their ships to tie directly to the trees on the shoreline. They could unload without building a dock.
The island was set 60 miles upriver from the Chesapeake Bay, far enough inland that Spanish warships couldn't fire directly into the fort.
And the land appeared to be uninhabited by the Powhatan people who controlled this entire region.
3 criteria, 3 checks, site selected.
Here is what the Virginia Company's checklist did not include.
The island was a marsh, low-lying, swampy ground that flooded with the tides, overrun with mosquitoes.
Crossing the swamp is a little stinky.
And the river at this point is tidal, which means the water they were drinking was brackish, part salt, part fresh. Not enough salt to taste, more than enough to kill you slowly.
The colonists didn't have wells yet. They were drinking directly from the James River, downstream from their own waste.
The fort went up in 6 weeks. Triangular walls, 3 bulwarks with cannon, a church, a storehouse, and a row of houses inside the palisade.
By June 22nd, Captain Christopher Newport sailed back to England to fetch more supplies.
And with days of his leaving, the dying started.
George Pearcy, one of the colonists who survived that first summer, wrote it all down. His words have survived 400 years.
He wrote that the men were dying of swellings, fluxes, fevers, by famine, and sometimes by wars.
By the time Captain Newport returned from England in January of 1608, only 38 were still alive.
66 people gone in 8 months.
Not one of them killed in a major battle. Not one of them lost at sea.
They drank the river. The river killed them. For most of American history, the story of Jamestown came down to a single explanation.
The wrong people were sent.
Lazy gentlemen who wouldn't work, who expected the land to feed them, who sat inside that fort waiting to get rich while the colony fell apart around them.
It's a story that's been told for 4 centuries in textbooks, in documentaries, in classrooms.
And archaeology blew a significant hole in it.
And Jamestown is still a live archaeological site. These workers back here are still digging up things that were from the original English colonies.
What the ground here has revealed over 30 years of excavation is something different. A community that was trying to make it. Craftsmen who brought their tools and used them. Soldiers who built a military sound fortification in 6 weeks in an unfamiliar wilderness.
People killed not by their own laziness, but by a water supply that would have poisoned anyone, by a drought that was starving the Powhatan as well, by decisions made 3,000 miles away by men who had never set foot in Virginia. For nearly a century, the history of Jamestown was built on a belief that the evidence had washed into this river, that this fort behind me, was gone forever.
In 1994, one archaeologist with a spade proved that wrong.
For years, the accepted belief about Jamestown was simple. The James River had eaten the western shore of this island. The original 1607 fort, ground zero for English America, had eroded into the water.
There was nothing left to find. An archaeologist named William Kelso didn't believe it. In April of 1994, Kelso put a spade into the ground between the old church tower and the riverbank. His best hope was that he might find a small fragment of the original fort.
Within hours, he had pottery, armor, objects that dated unmistakably to the early 1600s, to the very roots of this country.
Over the 30 years since that first dig, the Jamestown Rediscovery Project has recovered millions of artifacts from inside that fort.
Kelso called it Ground Zero, where America began.
And he was right, not as a slogan, as a literal geographic fact. This ground, the specific outline in the earth, is where the English speaking world put down its first permanent roots in North America.
Everything that comes after, Williamsburg, Yorktown, 1776, every bit of it traces back to this triangular fort on this island in the summer of 1607.
In 2026, 419 years after those three ships landed, America is marking its 250th anniversary. The celebrations are in Philadelphia, in Washington, across the country.
But the story didn't start in Philadelphia. It started right here in the swampy island of the James River with 104 people who were told that they were going to make their fortune and discovered instead that survival would be enough.
The ideals of July 4th, 1776 are more meaningful, not less, when you know the ground they were built on and what it cost to hold that ground.
In the next video, we'll be staying on the island because the story of Jamestown isn't over. That first terrible summer, it gets worse, significantly worse, the winter of 1609.
They survived 1607, just barely.
But the worst winter was still coming, and it would almost end everything.
In our next video, the winter that almost killed the colony for good, and the bones that finally told the truth